Welcome to e-Niro Diaries on the 21st of July. So the car is going in for its 105,000 kilometre service tomorrow. Actually, we've overshot a bit. It's closer to 106. And one of the things I'm going to do is have the front tyres changed. Now, as I've said before, there's so much negativity around EVs at the moment, and one of the EV haters' little things they like to say is that electric vehicles go through tyres. Well, the e-Niro is a front drive car. It's putting just over 200 horsepower through the front wheels and a hell of a lot of torque. I think it's like 390 Newton meters. Now they've reined that in with the new Niro EV. They've mapped it differently so that you don't get this sort of sudden burst of torque off the line, so it comes smoother. And I think the 0 to 60 or 0 to 100 kilometre acceleration times are just the same. It's just that they've applied the power in a different way. So I guess that's something they've learned. To be honest, you know, I've got used to it, and I rarely have spun the tyres. You know, it's just something you just learn with using the right foot. But anyway, just thought I'd have a look to see what the wear is like. So these tyres were put on at 54,000 kilometres. So they've done 51,000 kilometres. So that's about 30,000 miles. And to be honest, I don't need to change them. I'm told that I would get through the control technique with them, but the control technique isn't until next March, and I don't like to take risks, certainly through the winter. But let's just have a look to see how much tread is left on these tyres. So I don't know if you can see in there, but I'm just going to push this down until I can't push it anymore. Okay, so I mean there's comfortably 3 millimeters on there, but we've got quite a lot of trips coming up. And I don't know, I would have done another 10,000 kilometres probably at least by next March. What's that one like? Push that down a bit. No. Okay, so it's between 3 and 4. Am I wasting my money changing the tyres? Well, I don't think so. So on the outer piece of tread there, it is just on 3. On the more central parts of the tread, it's closer to 4. But anyway, I'm going to change them in any case. And I've had a quote. I'm just going to get another pair of Hankook. What are they called? Yes, they're called Hankook Ventus Prime. I found that they wear really well. They seemed quieter than the Michelins that were on when the car was sold to me originally, although it's very hard. I don't have any way of measuring that. It's just a subjective opinion. But anyway, yeah, so new tyres and a service tomorrow. I'm not sure what they're going to do. In fact, I have got a list of what they're going to do. It's not a lot. I think at 120,000 kilometres they're going to change the reduction gear oil. So that's going to be a little bit more expensive, but that's not going to be at this rate until probably next spring, early summer. Anyway, we'll see. Never know exactly how much driving you're going to do. Anyway, see how we go tomorrow. So here we are again, a few days later on the 24th of July. I'm hiding from the heat here in the hangar next to the car. Very warm day today. So yeah, I had the service done a couple of days ago, and that was fine. I mean, it was 105,000 kilometre service, for which they charged 79 euros. And I'd asked them to replace the rear windscreen wiper, which had become a bit shredded. Actually, I mean, these windscreen wipers have lasted longer than any other car I've ever owned, and I think it's a lot to do with the fact that it lives here, out of the strong sun in the shade, and it yeah, it doesn't get really icy in this part of France. Very much in the winter, it's very rare to have a really hard frost. So windscreen wipers have an easy life here. But anyway, got that changed, and also replaced the interior rear interior light. There was a certain little boy in the child seat last summer who kept switching it on and off, pressing, you could just reach it. And he's at that age where switching stuff on and off and is just great fun. So I think that may have had something to do with the fact that the interior light just died. But there we go, grandkids. So now the only trouble is that they couldn't change the tyres. And they were very embarrassed about what happened because they'd ordered 215/55 R17 98Ws, which is what we need on this car. And what arrived was 215/55 R17 98Vs. And although the kind of VWS, all that stuff is pretty academic as it's to do with speeds that I'm never likely to reach in this car, you will fail the control technique if you don't have the correct matching tyres in terms of those letters at the end. So they offered, very apologetic, they said, can you wait until 2 o'clock? Well, I was there at 10:30 in the morning. I had other things to do back here in the afternoon, and it's a 120 kilometre round trip, and it just wasn't convenient for me. So I said, how about Friday? Come back Friday. And they said, sure. Okay, so I'm going to go to e-Niro again on Friday and hopefully get these tyres changed. So anyway, the cost of the service was €98.62. Yeah, it's really money for old rope. I mean, what did they do? They check everything out, I suppose. That's worth it, do they? I can't see what they're doing. I go off and do something else, or they got a very nice place where you can rest and get on the internet or read if that's what you want to do. The nettoyage circuit climatisation, which is cleaning out the air conditioning, they say, and they clean the car, and which they say they didn't charge me for, and say they changed the rear wiper blade and the light bulb. But anyway, it's still got another, 20 months of its warranty left. So I want to make sure I don't fall foul of that. So I always bring it to them for a service, keep them interested in it, and got to go back Friday, change the tyres, which is a bit of a pain, but it's a nice run to e-Niro. So Friday the 26th of July, and finally the tyre saga is over. So I went to e-Niro again this morning, got the new Hankook tyres put on, so they'll be good until I get another set, probably at about 120,000 kilometres, so maybe middle of next year maybe, and I'll just move these ones to the back, and then I'll be good. Based on the last set of tyres from Hankook, I'll be good then all the way up to 160,000 kilometres, so 100,000 miles, I guess. So that cost the princely sum of €329, which they gave me a quote for a few months back, and they stuck to that quote. And it sounds like a lot, but actually the cheapest way you can buy tyres here in France is online. There's a few websites like Allopneus, where you can get them delivered to wherever you want them to be put on, or you can get them delivered to your house, and then you get someone come and put them on for you. And to be honest, I mean, the best price I've seen for them is about €115. So a couple of tyres, $230, and then there's postage to consider, and obviously fitting them and doing all the valve balancing stuff that they do. So yeah, it's okay. Main dealer, I want to keep them interested, and if you've stayed with me this long, thank you for watching. Appreciate recent subscribers who are following this journey of EV ownership, and as I say, it just puts to bed all the arguments that I've seen on, as I call it, YouTubistan, about, EVs eat through tyres. Well, not in my experience they don't, but I'm sure if you play silly buggers with the immense amount of torque you get with an electric car, then you probably will eat through the tyres quicker than you would do with a fossil fuel car, which takes a lot of gear changing to get its maximum torque down onto the road. Yeah, it's very easy to, spin the tyres if you're not experienced with driving an EV and know how to make best use of that power. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until the next time.